Sorry, I'm using yours. I just want to point out, I think everybody that I saw looked like they were getting this right. A few things I want to say. When you reduce it, leave it as a fraction like this because we're talking about slope, rise over run. I like an improper fraction, okay? Don't make it a mixed number, or if you put 1.5, yes, it's right. I won't mark that wrong, but as far as your slope of your graph, if it says 1.5, it's easier to say 3 over 2. I'm going to go up 3 and over 2 because you're talking about slope, rise over run. So I want it left like this. Anytime zero's in your denominator, it's undefined. Do y'all remember slope dude? That's that line that's straight up and down. He fell off the cliff. That's an undefined slope. If you type that in your calculator, it can remind you that it's undefined. Because if you put 9 divided by 0, it's going to give you an error. And the reason is because that can't happen. Okay? Number 3 was -4. And then number 4, 0 in the numerator. That can happen. It's a slope of 0. And remember, it's a line that looks like this. Okay? And it's just 0. If you type that in your calculator, 0 divided by 4, it's just going to give you 0. Okay? So if you're unsure about which one to write, just type it in your calculator and it'll tell you. Okay? Make sense? We're all good with that. Okay. So there's going to be some of this on your midterm. Now let's do today's lesson really quick. Today's lesson is called direct variation. Okay, there's a few things that I want to tell you that you will look for. A direct variation equation, let me do stamp. It goes through the origin every time. It's not moved up or down from the origin. So I have, let me do a few graphs. Okay, this is a direct variation. Because do you see how it goes through the origin? Yes? And the slope doesn't matter. This is also a direct variation. It might be a negative slope, and it's a steep slope, but it's going through the origin. Do y'all see that? These are direct variations. Okay? It's like it's a constant. This, I'll draw one over here. This is not a direct variation, because it has been moved up 2. In your equation, that would actually have a +2 because it has been moved up 2. This one is not a direct variation either because it has been moved down 3. It would actually have a -3 in my equation. Okay? So you're going to have to tell, yes, it's direct, or no, it's not a direct variation. Can y'all kind of see the differences? It doesn't go through the origin, and it does. If it doesn't go through the origin, then it's no. But you're not going to look at a graph. You're going to look at equations. So these, like, I'm just going to give you, these are not direct variation. Let me zoom out a little. These are not direct variation. -2x + 2. See how we have these numbers that are added or subtracted or whatever over here? Y equals 1/2 x minus 4. What happens is this one has been moved up 3. This graph has actually been moved up 2. That's what it's saying. This graph has been moved where? Down 4. If you add or subtract a number, it moves your equation or your line away from the origin. But over here, these are direct variations. Like, I'm just going to make some up. Y equals 3x. Y equals -1/2 x. Y equals -4x. Do y'all see the difference between the two? There's no number added or subtracted. That's all you're looking for. So these are direct variations. These are not. How do we feel about those? Now, the only thing is, they'll give this to you where you actually have to solve it to see. I know, it's never that easy, right? Anybody need to write this down? Okay, I'll pause this for a second and y'all can write it down. So your equation, y'all, it looks like this. When they say this is the equation for direct variation, it just means a number times x. They call k, it's fine. they call k a constant. It's just a number times x. So our first problem says 7y equals 2x. Is this a direct variation? You have to solve it for y. Get y by itself. What's over there with the y? 7. It's being multiplied, so what do I have to do with it? Divide. I can divide both sides by 7. And look, I'm not adding or subtracting anything. Okay, that's the key here. So, y equals 2 over 7 times x. Is that a direct variation? Yes. What's the number in front of x? 2 over 7, 2 sevenths. So yes, it's a direct variation. What's your constant? 2 over 7. Do y'all kind of understand that? No. We have to remember solving for y. We're solving, yeah. In this case, we're solving for y. The next one, let's do another one just like that. 6y equals 18x. Okay, what am I going to do to solve for y? Divide by 6. Notice we're not adding or subtracting anything. So it should be okay. So y equals, what's 18 divided by 6? 3x. Is that a direct variation? Yes. And what's your constant? 3. Okay, you should kind of get used to seeing this, what it's going to look like. So your constant here is 3, that number in front of x, and it's 2 over 7 over here. No, we're not getting this?
No. Why is that, how is that the constant?
Well, that's what they call it, k. They say your constant of variation, k, is the number in front of x.
So like 2 over 7
is your k, yeah. Because they might ask you for that both on your study guide or your worksheet. Okay, I'm going to change it up a little bit now. Remember, you're looking for, is it just a number times x? Okay, if we have 3y plus 4x equals 8. Okay, you should kind of be able to tell, is this one going to be a direct variation?
No.
Because I'm about to have to add or subtract something, right?
So don't we have to do it?
Yes, because you have to solve for what's your constant.
Oh, dang it.
Yep, so you have to do it. But you should already be able to tell, no, this is not a simple direct variation. Now, I'm solving for y. What two things do I have to move? The 3 and the 4x. So, I'm going to move the 4x how? Subtracting it. So watch, I'm just going to do minus 4x. And I'm going to write my x first because we need to start getting used to that. I'm just going to rewrite everything. Those cancel out. So I have 3y equals, I have a negative 4x. I thought I just turned that off. Plus 8. So look at that for a second and see. Any questions? All I did, notice I moved my 4x over. It was positive, and what did it become? Negative. See, it just switched sides. Does everybody see that? My 8 stayed here, and I basically just moved my 4x over. When you move it, it becomes the opposite.
When you move it, it becomes the opposite.
Yes, so if it was negative, then it would have been what? Positive when you move it. Okay, so you just move it to the opposite side, it becomes the opposite of what it was. Now, is y all, yes, question?
Where does the plus sign
Okay, well, you have to have some type of sign because you have your two terms, a 4x and an 8.
Wait, so does it matter what kind of sign?
Yes, if 8 would have been negative, what kind of sign would I have put? A minus, okay? If 8 was positive, what kind of sign do I put?
A plus.
A plus. So it does matter what kind of sign there is. You have to show, though, this would not make sense. Negative 4x 8. Like, does that make sense to us in a mathematical equation? No. Okay? It doesn't. So you have to have some, like, a plus or minus sign. Yes?
So that equals 8, and then you have the negative 4x under it. You're not subtracting that.
You can't because they're not like terms. Because if 8 had an x, if it was 8x, I could have subtracted 4x. But it's not. So I just have to write both of them down. Okay? Now, is y all by itself?
No.
What's still over there with it?
3.
The 3. So what are we going to have to do? Divide. This looks like the problems that we did at first. We're going to divide everything by 3. Every little thing. I just like to write it under all my numbers. Remember, fractions are okay. They're actually a little bit easier. Okay, for once. So my 3's cancel out, and I'm just going to write down my equation. Negative 4/3 x plus 8/3. See, I just divided everything by 3. So notice my 4 is divided by 3, and my 8 is divided by 3. Now, is that a direct variation? No, we said it probably wouldn't be. It's because you've added something or subtracted something to it. So no, it's not a direct variation. Well, so actually if it's not a direct variation, you don't have to say a constant. So I'll add on that. But we have to get used to this anyway. So you would just say, no, it's not a direct variation. Because this is all we're going to do for this whole chapter is start to move equations around. So y'all have to get used to it. Luckily, no, most of that will be after break. Most of it will be after break. Okay, let's start the new year off right. Okay, let's do another one. 4x plus 5y equals 16. Is this going to be a direct variation? No. But what am I going to do here? What do I have to move? I have to solve for y. 4x, and I'm going to highlight them so you can see. The two things that I have to move are the 4x and the 5. Does everybody see that? So let's move that 4x. How do I move it? Subtract it. So that'll cancel out, and I'm going to bring my 4x over here. So let's bring everything down. 5y equals negative 4x plus 16. Questions? Look at that for just a second.
Again.
Question?
Wait, shouldn't that 16 be minus 16 because
No,
they're positive?
The 16 is positive. So you need to keep it positive. But the 4x is what we moved and it became negative. Anybody else have a question? Now's the time to ask. Make sure you're understanding. I don't want to go too fast.
Okay, this is kind of a question for the next part. So whenever you divide them, is there any time you would actually divide them?
Yeah, I meant to do that and I didn't make it. Yeah, so I'll do that on another one. I'll make up another one where we do that.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Can you do another one?
I'm not done with this one. But yes, I will do another one. Anybody else have a question before I do this last part? What's the other number that I have to move?
5.
The 5. See, we highlighted them at the beginning. And since it's being multiplied, what do I have to do with it? Divide it. So I'm going to just divide every little thing by 5. Okay? So I get y equals, I have a negative 4/5 x, and I can't reduce anything, so I leave it like that. That's what Chloe was asking about. I'm going to do one in a second where I can reduce something. I'll make another one up. And that's your answer. And you would just put no, it's not a direct variation because of that right there. We actually moved it from the origin. So it's not a direct variation. Let me do 6x plus 3y equals 12. Actually, I'm going to do a negative 6x plus 3y equals 12. Okay? What do you notice about all those numbers?
What's a negative?
No, there is a negative. They're all divisible by 3. So this one you can kind of say, we might be able to reduce it. But is this going to be a direct variation? No, because again, we're adding and subtracting stuff to it.
There's a lot of not.
Well, that's because I'm just making these up right now.
Oh.
So we'll look at your study guide in a second and see what's on there. Now, what am I going to do with I'm going to move the 6x and the what?
3.
The 3. Yeah. We're moving everything away from the y. Does it help you to highlight them or no? Yeah? Kind of looks funny, is that what you said? It's okay. So those are the two things we have to move away from the y. So what do I do with the 6x? We're going to add it this time. Okay? So I get 3y equals what? What does it equal?
X plus 12.
Yes. Question? 6x plus 12. I have my 6x and my 12 over there. And you'll see why we're getting used to writing it in this way tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Are we done?
Mm.
Nope. One more number to move, and what is it? 3. And what are we going to do with it? Divide. Divide everything by 3. And this is what Chloe was asking. Sometimes you can actually simplify it, okay? So my 3's cancel out. What is 6x divided by 3? What is 6 divided by 3? 2x. And 12 divided by 3? 4. So that's your answer. So you can reduce these. We couldn't these. And again, this answer is no. It's not a direct variation because of that plus 4. Yeah.
So if you can't reduce it, you just leave it like
Yeah. If you can't reduce it, it just stays like this. Sometimes you can reduce one and not the other. I mean, and that's fine too. Yeah.
So they have to, like, why couldn't you do the other ones?
These,
Yeah.
because like you want to leave it as a fraction. I mean, unless, like if it was 20 over 5, what's 20 divided by 5? 4. It's just a number like it can be a whole number.
So it's either a whole number or a fraction.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Because I wouldn't want like 1.5. If you put that, y'all, I'm not going to mark that wrong. Okay? And you'll actually, we might see problems where they write that and you're telling what the slope is. That's fine. I just personally, as a teacher, I like your answers like this. Okay? I think it will make it easier eventually for you. Okay, any questions on that part? No. Let me pause this and see what we're going to do real quick. We have
Why does it have win in it?
this, okay, just wait, because we're doing, for each problem, we have to do 2 things. Remember, we'll take one part and then do the next. It's like a puzzle. You figure out your first part, and then you can figure out the rest, okay? This is what direct variation equation looks like. Y equals a number times x. We have to know what k is. That's what we're always trying to find. So, my problem is going to say that y is 35 when x is 5. Y is 35 when x is 5. Then they tell me what they want me to find. Find y when x is 9. Find y when x is 9. Okay, so I'm going to take my first part, all the information they give me. What is y? 35. I don't know k. And what's my x? 5. Now, can you find out, can somebody tell me what k is going to equal? How do I find out what that is?
You have to do that little thing.
Divide by 5. Okay, and then I'm going to know what k is. So if I divide, what's 35 divided by 5? 7. K is 7. That's great. That's what I needed. Now, let me write my equation. Is everybody okay so far? I used this and I found k. It's just 35 divided by 5. What is that? 7. That's what I need. So,
all you gotta do is divide those 2 numbers that it gives you.
that's it. That's all you're going to do. And then,
Really so complicated.
because this is what you're doing, but you can make it easier if you want to. But this is,
How do you make it?
they're just saying divide 35 by 5 and you'll find your constant. Then what do you do with that x?
Try to multiply.
Multiply. You plug it in. What's 7 times 9?
63.
That's your answer. So y is 7 times 9, which is 63.
X was 5. Why is it?
Okay, so they're giving you, it's kind of like a proportion type thing. They're telling you, hey, use these numbers to find out what your constant is. Your constant 7. Y'all, and it's basically a line. There's so many answers. Like this line goes on and on forever. So there's so many ordered pair that work. In this case, 9 and 63, 5 and 35, 2 and 14, 1 and 7, 3 and 21, 4 and 24. All those are answers actually. Okay? Because I'm just, whatever number I pick, I multiply it by 7. But this is what we use to find our constant, and then we plug this in. Let me do another one. Let me do one more.
Did y'all do any more while me?
No, we did not. If y is 10 when x is negative 2, They want me to find y if x is negative 15. So this is what I'm looking for right here. What is y if x is negative 15? What would y'all do? What's 10 divided by negative 2?
10 divided by negative 2 is negative 5.
So I get negative 5x. Okay? So then what am I going to do? Yeah, negative 15 times negative 5. You're just going to plug it in. So y is going to be negative 5 times negative 15. What is that? 75?
Something like that.
I think it's 75. So my answer would be 75. How is this?
Good.
Yeah.
Usually that's terrible. So y'all handled it well.
Can you do it again?
Yes, absolutely. What y'all are going to do, I'm just going to make y'all do 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, so how does it?
But I'm going to do another one. How about I do number 9 with you? Because it might be a decimal. Decimals are fine. Fractions are fine. Fractions are fine. Okay.
If we
Did
we only do 13?
Yeah, you can just do, well, you don't even have to do 10 unless you just want to.
Already did.
Okay. 7, 8, and 9. I might do 9 and 10. Number 9. It says y is 2 when x is 5. And at the top, it's telling me find y if x is 8. What is y if x is 8? So I'm going to do 2 over 5. That's my constant. Does everybody understand that? I just take my y and divide my x. Oh, it's at the top. Okay. So I get my equation is 2 over 5x. You could, if you hate that fraction, you can make it into a decimal. It's fine. What am I going to do now that I know it's just y divided by x? Yeah, 2/5 times 8. Guess what? If you hate fractions, your calculator will do that all for you. You would type in 2/5 times 8. And if you have a graphing calculator and you press math enter, tell me what it gives you.
16 over 5.
That's what I got, 16 over 5.
Alright, answer is 16 over 5.
Yep, that's how I would do it. If for some reason you got a decimal, y'all, I would still take it. Okay?
Hold up, I'm confused.
Okay?
How did you get 2 over 5?
We did that every time. On this one,
Wait,
what's 10? I did. What's 10?
16 over 5.
Oh, for my final answer, yes.
Wait, but
Hold on. For my, look, hold on, let me tell her this. Hannah Catherine, I would take 10 divided by negative 2, right? I'm taking my y and I divide it by my x, and I got negative 5. I did the same thing. I did 2 divided by 5, but does that divide evenly? No, so I just left it. And then I multiplied my x by that. Okay, what's your question?
okay. How does it equal that?
Because I got 2/5 times 8.
But look, how did you get that? Where'd you get the 8 from? Because when it's
Oh,
5,
right here, right here, right here. This is what you have to plug back in.
I didn't see that part. Okay.
You do it now.
Yeah, I'll do number 10. Number 10 has decimals. It's yucky, but I'll just do that one. Y'all really only have 7 and 8 to do. Because I did number 9. But go ahead and write number 9 so you get credit for it.
That's 16 over 5.
Yep, it's 16 over 5. The next one they tell me, y is 9.92 and x is 12.8, and it's find y when x is 8. That's the same part of the problem that they gave me. Okay, let me move that. So again, I take my y and divide my x. Can somebody tell me, because I don't have a calculator, well, I can use my phone. It's 9.92 divided by 12.8. That's what you're doing. You take your y and divide it by x.
775.
Thank you. 0.775. So that's my equation. That's my constant. Then what do they tell me? They tell me what to plug in for x, right? 0.775 times 8. And what do y'all get? 6.2, and that's what I got.
Okay, so all we're doing is just
You're finding your constant by dividing y divided by x. Okay, that's how you find your constant, y divided by x.
So whenever you write it down, just put y equals 6.2 or k equals 6.2?
Well, y equals 6.2 because your k was y divided by x was 0.775.
Did I do this right? Right here, would that be right? Could you
So
go
you
ahead and do
get
it?
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Would you
because
could I go ahead and do like
10 divided by 2 is 5 times 8 is 40. Yes. That's what I would do. And same thing on the next one. So all y'all have left is 7 and 8. We are going to graph, but since we're on a roll with that, I'm going to skip to the tables on the back in just a second.
So now here's the 6 divided by 18. What number is that? Is that how you do it, or can you flip it around?
Oh, you have it written.
Did you do 6 divided by 18 or
You know, so she always divides your head.
So, what we would do is we would have like, so I wrote that the way you did. You would just do 10 divided by 2,
Is 5, and 5 times 8 is
40.
there you go.
So that's my answer.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing 18. I think it was 6. 6 divided by 18.
That is right.
That's correct. Y divided by 6 over 18 times 8. What is 48 divided by 18? I don't get that. I don't get 6. Because y is 6 when x is 18. You get 6 over 18. That's correct. Do it on your calculator. Do you have a graphing calculator?
I'm using ALOS.
So it should be 6 over 18 times 8. And it should be a fraction. But your first one is right. Are y'all almost done?
I'm done.
So like on the test, like they'll have problems like this on the test.
On your study guide, it's number 24. On your study guide, it's number 24.
It's
Yeah.
a magnetic to the right.
Magnetic.
Magnet. Magnetism. Is he ready? It is there.
Well, that's just an easy way to do it.
And I got the same answers, and I didn't know what to answer.
Oh shoot, it's in a decimal. Crap.
Y'all, what time is the parade today?
Parade.
4 after ride.
Okay, so like it won't be busy in town at like 12. Okay.
I don't know how the basketball boys are gonna get home. Yeah, they're gonna have to
Getting
go
out of
around
practice at 6.
or 4:15.
Just cancel practice, huh?
Have they thought about that?
Practice.
Have they thought about the parade being today?
Coach Ty, I don't know.
Yeah, he might not.
But I just know that like the boys were talking about getting home. They gotta go like
We practice at 10:45. Max.
Okay, so I'm trying to do it on my study guide,
Uh-huh.
and what I put in is not my option.
8 divided by negative 6. What is 8 divided by negative 6?
1 divided by 1.
Because they don't have fractions.
1.333333.
Okay, 1.33. That's the only one with a 1.33.
So what do I do
So-
with that? Because I went ahead and multiplied.
And then, go ahead and now multiply 1.33 times your negative 2. And what do you get?
2.666666.
But it should be a negative, right? Because you multiply it by. So that one, it is C. Yeah, who said C? Yeah.
Cat.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so I did mine too. So whenever yeah, is that supposed to be 40?
No, yes,
Okay, and then 8 over 3.
Look how I spelled J.
Because you get on number
I spelled
8,
Hannah's name.
it should be 6 over 18 times 8. Is that what you did?
I don't know what it is. I'm not
See, it should be. Oh, wait, hold on. That's right. Yeah. That is correct. It's 8 over 3. You're good.
16 over 5.
Yep, that's what we got.
6.2.
Yep.
I
And
did
then you.
11. I did 11 too. Did I do that one?
Let me see what they get from a row over. Because I don't have my calculators are out of batteries. They got 16.
That's what I got.
Yep, y equals 2x and 16. There you go.
I got it.
Y'all, if you'll notice real quick before I go to the next thing, y'all take your seats if you're up. On your study guide. Oops. Oh, have I? That's awful. Okay, hold on. Real quick, listen. On your study guide, they write 2 answers. So don't let it confuse you. Are y'all listening? Look, Aston up here. I know y'all are talking about the math, but just so you can make sure, what they do is they divide 8 by negative 6. 8 divided by negative 6. Oh, wait. It should be a negative 1.33. I didn't realize it was a negative. Okay, so it's a negative 1.33. That's your K. That's your constant. They write that right here. We weren't writing that, but I want you to know that's what they got. Then, if you take that negative 1.33 and multiply it by negative 2, it's 2.67. Does that make sense to y'all? I didn't realize that it was a negative on there. Okay, what's your question?
Alright. So you know how you wrote it out like all confusing and stuff? Well,
Yes.
I just did 10 divided by 2, and that's 5. So
Yes.
5x. And then I just plugged in the 8.
Yeah.
So that's like a lot easier.
Yeah, that
But I
is
still get the
perfectly.
same thing.
That is that's the
So
same
I don't
thing.
have to do it the
That's
way
what we're
that,
doing.
like-
That's what we're doing.
that
But
on-
I just want you to be. Yeah, you don't have to do
I
that.
don't have to do that, right?
No, but I want you to
like
be
that's
okay
not-
with they write it like
Well,
this,
I
and you did
could
too.
figure that out.
You did too, though.
Yeah, I know.
So you're good. That's perfect.
Okay, so I'm not, like, I don't have to do it like that.
No,
Like,
no,
there's
you're
nothing
way.
that's going to make me do it like that, right?
No, not like this. They want. On your test, it's going to say they want y equals 5x and they want 40, and you wrote both of those things. Okay, and see, I did too, but I just wrote.
You just wrote
I
them
just
all
wrote all the information.
Puzzling.
Yeah.
I just did.
I just wrote all the information. Okay, question. Let me pause this. I keep forgetting to pause it. So we've got to move on. If you do watch this, there was probably about 10 minutes where I was asking about the parade, and y'all know y'all were working on your worksheets, so it's going to be like a boring 10 minutes. I make an edit. All right. Now, real quick, I want you to flip your worksheet over because all we just did was what? Y divided by X. Y divided by X. Y divided by X. It gave us our constant. So on this table, guess what we're going to do? Y divided by X. And let's see if it stays a constant number. So I don't have a calculator. Can somebody take your Y values, these 3 Y values, and divide them by X? Like negative 2.5 divided by 2.
That's negative 5 over 4.
So she gets negative 5 over 4, or you may get, yeah, either one. Now, somebody else take the next one, or y'all can do that too. That Y divided by X. And let's see if we get the same constant.
Wait, no. I just got confused, Miss Amanda.
Yeah. Okay. On these?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought we were dividing all those.
Y divided by X.
I thought we were dividing like all those together.
No. Negative 2.5 divided by 2. Just take each one.
Like on each, like just.
Yep. And you get negative 5 over 4. See if you get that, Bryson. Okay. So y'all, did it... It's a constant, right? It stayed the same. What is my constant?
Negative 1.25
Or negative 5 over 4. That's all it's asking. Is this a direct variation? Yes, because it stayed constant. Okay? And so that's how you're checking. So can y'all try 19 and 20? All you're doing, what happens if it's not the same number?
There's no.
Then your answer's no. And you can stop.
So it says write an equation. Is that my equation?
Yes. So hers says, I didn't realize, it says write the equation. Y'all, just so you know, this is all it is. Negative 5 fourths, y equals negative 5 fourths x. Or
Yes.
y equals negative 1.25x. Yes.
Do you have a free hour today?
Fourth block.
Is that like when we're in,
PE.
Y'all
I have to leave for a little bit, but then I'll be back fourth block. Like the whole fourth block. Yes.
If only one of them, if like one of the numbers is negative but the rest of them is positive, is it still a no?
Yeah.
It's no. Yeah, it's no. Because they weren't all the exact same.
do you have a class like, you know how whenever we're in Spanish and stuff?
The last thing is graphing. And this is what we're going to really start in the next class tomorrow. I don't think tomorrow's stuff takes near as long to me. No. Because tomorrow it's like it's the same thing over and over again. What do I have? I don't know. There's a few problems. Anyway, it says to graph. What did I tell y'all at the beginning of class? If it's direct variation, what does it go through?
The origin.
Through the origin. So every time I know it's going to go through 0, 0. If I draw,
Where do you see the graph?
I'm on number 13. I flipped it back over. I went ahead and did the easier ones. So on number 13, I know it's a direct variation. I haven't added or subtracted anything to it. So it goes through the point 0, 0. Okay?
So we can just draw
So you're going to draw that point right there. Now, and think about that. If I plugged in x is 0, what would y have been? 0. Okay? Now, what if I plugged in x is 5?
25.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to say that. Yes, you're right. But that's kind of a big number. What if I plugged in x is 1?
5.
There, that's what I meant to say. So, I would go 1, 5. Does everybody understand where I'm getting? So, that ordered pair would be over 1 and up 5. Right there. And 2 points makes a line. That's what my graph would look like. I don't draw straight lines. Y'all, I have graph paper. I have graph stamps. Anything. Now, for today, let's just do this. But you'll kind of get an idea. These aren't so bad, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
need to write down 0, 0, 2.
Something else.
We can make our own number.
Now, let me tell y'all something.
Why did you go through the one? I'm confused on that.
I went over. Listen. Well, let me tell you another way you could have done this. What was your slope? What's your slope?
5x.
5. So I could go up 5 and over 1. I don't go through the 1. I go through the point 1, 5. Okay? Or I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. I use my slope. This is all we're doing tomorrow is graphing these. So if you don't quite understand it today, it's fine. Let me do number 14 with you. Okay, are y'all ready for this one? No, fractions are great because we just use rise over run. I promise y'all, fractions are not bad anymore. So here's my x and my y. What point do I know this one goes through?
The origin.
The origin, because I didn't add or subtract anything. So I'm going to draw that point.
Okay, wait, so the negative's in the middle, and which one's negative?
I always go down. Like,
So,
it makes me go down. Yeah, so she's saying, let's use the slope. Okay? Let's use it as a slope. It's going down 2. I'm going to rise to negative 2. It doesn't make sense. But down 2 and over what?
5.
Run 5. So from that point, watch, I'm just going to make 2 marks. I'm going to go down 2, and I'm going to make 5 marks over here. Down 2 and over 5. And that's my second point. And 2 points makes a line. Let me say it again. Draw that little graph. What I did was I started on these. Now tomorrow we don't get to start at 0, 0 every time. Because it's not a direct variation, but it's not hard. I'm going to show you, it's going to tell you what number to start at. Every time it'll tell you exactly what number you start at. So your starting point, and then you use your slope. What does my slope say on this one? negative 2 over 5. So I go down 2 and over 5, and I draw my line. This one, I told you 2 different ways to do this one, but if you start at 0, 0, what's my slope? 5. So you go up 5, you rise 5, and since it wasn't over a number, you just go over 1. This one right here, where do I start at? 0, 0. What am I going to rise?
3.
Up 3 and over 4. See how you're using your slope to find your line?
Oh, so fractions?
Fractions are actually great for once, right?
So
So if
fractions just makes it like.
rise
So
over
negative-
1.
Negative 2, so you just go down.
Down 2 and
then
over
just
5. You always go to the right. You either go up or down, and you always go to the right.
And whenever you have whole numbers, so like.
You have to put it over 1. You have to put it whenever, like I had 5, I would just put it over 1. So I rise 5, run 1. Okay? So this one, I start at 0, 0, and I go up 3 and over 4. Up 3.
Oh wait, were we not supposed to be writing like a little?
So these are actually easier than the other ones.
This to me is easy. Yeah, I like this stuff. Are we not supposed to what? The order pair? You can do the order pair. You can however you graph is how you graph. It's fine. So y'all,
Miss Amanda?
that's all that. Like if you, that's all I had. Well, it's time to go. Tomorrow, yes, turn this in. Tomorrow we're gonna graph some and work strictly on our study guide. Okay, so that we can get some stuff done.